1, 2, 3, 4. I won't deny it, I'm a Southsider. You don't wanna mess with me. Got the police looking for me. But I'm calm cause I'm smoking that CBD. Said I won't deny it, I'm a Southsider. You don't wanna mess with me. Got the police looking for me. But I'm chilling in the back of the VIP. Said we won't deny it, we are Southsiders. You don't wanna mess with us. Got the police looking for us. But there's nothing that they can do when you're chilling with the Blessed Life Podcast crew. What's up, what's good, everybody? I'm Brian Tierney. This is the Blessed Life University Podcast, the Blue Podcast for short. Today we're going to be talking about the upcoming Super Bowl Sunday, February 12th, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to be talking about some of the prop bets on that, so listen up on that, all the crazy shit that you can bet on. We're going to be talking about sports Mockery, the website, the media company. And here to talk with me about that today is Kevin Giltmier. He works with Fidelity National Title. He's one of the business partners that we work with in the industry, and he is one of the co-founders of Sports Mockery. Also here with me today is Matt Thomassen. He's a captain in the U.S. Army and attorney at Thomassen and Tierney, attorneys at law. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Well, sir, how are you?
Very, very good.
Captain, huh?
It's true. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Hopefully major soon. We'll
Okay.
see. Yeah. We'll see if I get
Got some work
promoted
to
or
do?
not. Yeah.
Just trying for
I
the
got work
promotion,
to do.
man. But
Lot
you
of
got
work.
paperwork in front of you, and he's got a lot of paperwork to handle for
I
him.
sure do.
The Army, man, they got a lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
But
Hoops.
he's working on the promotion right now. So poor Matt is tired from a weekend of drill. He was actually in Wisconsin. He comes back. This motherfucker thought we were recording for the last
good.
like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
25 minutes.
I was like, damn, dude, press record. Let's go.
Sorry, man. I just wanted to figure out the whole
all
big
good.
picture before we got into the trees of the
Yeah,
forest,
yeah.
if you will. But let's hit him with it. We'll get right into it. Tell us about the Super Bowl, Matt. Tell us
right.
about the stats and how evenly matched these teams are.
Super Bowl Sunday, right around the bend. Okay, so this is, I think, probably some of the most evenly matched teams here that we've seen in some time. I mean, they're basically statistically mirror images of each other. Like when you look at they're both 16-3. They both have 546 points scored. They got 6 All-Pros. They each got a Kelsey brother too. And they're each their own respective number one seeds too, and it's just like good luck, really picking one with confidence, right? I mean, you just flip a coin. This is a coin toss game, and it's gonna come down to, in my opinion, how well Mahomes performs on that injury, and if he can just weather it, and if they can dope him up on the anti-inflammatory, like you were saying earlier, and he can deliver normally. I mean, he can deliver injured. We've seen that. So if he's essentially at like 90%, I mean, it's still anyone's game, 100%. Like he'd still totally win, and it's tough betting against Mahomes. But like I said, the Eagles, I mean, their defense is buck nasty. If they can shut down his receivers, keep the pressure on, I mean, he might be in trouble.
Well, if he can stay uninjured throughout the entire game.
And
too.
stay uninjured. He's gonna have to stay uninjured because if he takes a bad hit, they're in deep shit. But yeah, and also the Eagles' running game. I mean, it's a locomotive. I think I don't know where I was seeing like the stats on that, but it was their running game stats were scary. Where it was just like they were going old. I forget the article here. But they were going old school with their running game, just like because the NFL has become a little bit more pass heavy. But like back in the day, they used to just run the ball a lot more, and the Eagles are kind of on the old school shit,
Which is what the Bears did for all of our lifetimes.
Yeah.
And still do.
Yeah.
Yes, pretty
Yeah.
much.
So
Even with Justin, he runs the ball too.
oh yeah, here we go. So
And he's good at scrambling. Too.
So the Eagles, I'm just looking at this article from recently. It says they turned back the clock in their 2 playoff wins, becoming the first team in 33 years to rush 44 times in consecutive postseason games. So that's a stat for you right there.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's some locomotive shit. that they're on. So, man.
Well, speaking of some locomotive stuff, Kevin was mentioning Toradol before the podcast. It's an anti-inflammatory.
Painkiller, anti-inflammatory that a lot of these NFL players get shot up with to mask their injury that they're currently going through, to be able to get through that 3.5, 4 hours on the gridiron, to be able to get through and come out on top.
Yeah.
Where do we get our hands on this shit?
We got to find it.
I was going to say, right? Because
Gotta know the right
we
doc.
could use it just for our everyday work life, but also because we're like on the old side of young and we got injuries to heal from. And is that way we can keep on exercising and all that stuff?
I could use some anti-inflammatories.
I wonder if that's like a Pfizer product or is that a natural thing or what is it? You know, because there's some good natural anti-inflammatories out
That's
there.
probably
I take
not
quercetin.
natural
Yeah, I
at
don't
all.
think so.
Probably not. When
It's
they make
engineered.
Toradol,
It's engineered in a lab. Yeah.
tore something, this just fixes it all. It's Toradol. You won't even know it's torn.
Everything that you tore, you won't even feel it.
No,
you'll
not
forget.
at all.
You'll forget what you tore.
Yeah.
I mean, never mind. The post game recovery where you can continue to like wreck your shit entirely. It's just, but in the meantime, you won't feel it. That's a tomorrow problem. We're just worried about the game tonight. Yeah.
And I'm sure they would much rather hoist the Lombardi trophy
Yes.
than worry about what Patrick's high ankle sprain is looking like.
Yes,
so
indeed.
they'll give him a couple CCs and he'll be on his way.
Hopefully so, yeah, and hopefully it doesn't get worse than that. I hate to see people playing through injuries and trying to mask them, and then it end up going so much worse. You know, you got a guy like Mahomes. Does he have like an official nickname? Because my cousin and I always called him the Prodigy coming up. Patrick the Prodigy Mahomes. Is that an actual name, or is that just something he made up?
I don't know.
But because he was so good, you know, and you saw other guys like in the past, like Robert Griffin III, RG3, like. Is he even in the league anymore? Does he play like back?
No, he's a commentator on ESPN.
Oh, is he? Yeah. I think I've seen him doing some commentating.
No, he's actually pretty funny. He's good at it.
Good. I'm
Yeah,
glad,
he's very
man,
good at it.
because
Yeah.
that guy was supposed to be like the next big thing, and then I can't remember if it was a championship game or if that was the Super Bowl when he got smashed in the end zone and his knee just gave out on him or whatever. It's terrible to watch. You know?
I feel like that's the NFL is like maybe the most dangerous sport for your knees, probably of any sport. Maybe I'm forgetting one, but I mean, man,
It's got to be, right?
It's got to be.
I think between your knees and your brain.
Yeah, your brain too with the
That's
TBI.
the worst one, man. Because we had like Tariq Cohen. The guy was like 5'7", 5'8", and just an incredible running back, man. But fucking tore his ACL. Is he still playing now?
No, yeah, he's not in the league anymore. I don't think.
Poor guy, man. I hope he saved his money because he was doing really well. He was incredible for the Bears. And it's just like one of those guys where, like, you know, I had a theory with Derrick Rose. I feel like he was explosive and he was incredible when the competition was smaller. But when that guy got into the NBA and he's trying to drive past guys that were like 6'6", 7 foot, like, you can only do that for so long, man. I mean, he was basically jumping over people like in high school, you know what I mean, or whatever. But what are you gonna do? But yeah, no. It sounds like we got a pretty even matchup. I'm very excited. Mike Corelli was supposed to be with us here tonight. He couldn't make it due to some family obligations, which we all have. But he's Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know why he likes them, but they're like his favorite team or whatever. And so he'd be over here cheerleading the hell out of them if he was here. But I'm excited, man. I can't wait to order like a million wings and just sit back and not do anything and maybe take off like half day on Monday or something. Like, because I'm not drinking right now. It doesn't matter about that. I just feel lazy after I eat all that food, you know.
Take the morning off, you know.
Yeah, until like 11, 12 or something and get back at it.
Good.
What do you got planned for it?
Hey, my son's got a hockey game. Yeah, so he's got hockey.
During the Super Bowl?
It's at 2:30 out in Geneva.
Oh, so about an hour drive.
Yeah, 2:30. The game's usually a little over an hour, so we'll probably be getting home right before kickoff. Is kind of what I'm estimating. So it'll be a family thing. We'll just be hanging out at the house, kind of.
Well, if you can get back, before kickoff, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, we should be able to. It'll be close, but we should.
So what time is kickoff? 5:30?
It's like 5:37 or something goofy like that. Yeah, but I think something like 5:30.
And those hockey games they play are about an hour, or what are they?
Yeah, they're only an hour. They're 12-minute periods. So.
Was he playing for school or what is it?
No, he plays for St. Jude Hockey Club, and they're out of Crestwood.
Okay.
So Southwest Ice Arena is their main rink.
Yeah. How many kids you got?
I got 2.
2, yeah.
Yeah. My daughter plays as well. So
Well, yeah, thank you, because I know they had practice tonight, right?
they did, yeah.
And
Yeah.
you rearrange your schedule to be here.
Yeah, but it's a lot on my wife. But yeah, they have practice on Tuesdays at different rinks at the same time. So that's where it becomes really kind of challenging.
Yeah, because you're driving around.
Is when you gotta drive around and stuff. But
Geneva, man, if you were stuck, there's a lot of nice places to watch a game out there. I'm a huge fan of Geneva, Illinois, not Wisconsin, although Wisconsin's probably nice too. But Geneva, Illinois, there's a place I like to go out there for like a long weekend. It's called the Harrington Inn and Spa. It's right on the Fox River.
Okay.
If you get the riverside view, it's beautiful. They have a nice walking path. There's a park across the river. And then there's just this total strip down there with like all sorts of restaurants and also a little shopping district that goes down one of the side streets.
Okay.
Where you can buy all sorts of like, stuff for the kids, or like they have like, chocolatier stores. You go in there and like, get homemade fudge or whatever. Definitely a nice place. But and you go to the spa, you can get a massage there or whatever, and the rooms are really nice. They bring you milk and cookies before bed.
Huh. Like Doubletree, right? Doesn't Doubletree do that? Or they're the ones who give them the cookies up at the front desk?
Maybe they should
I
all
think
do
some
it.
still,
think it
yeah,
was
they still do
Doubletree,
that.
maybe.
They used to.
Because at Harrington Inn and Spa used to be a creamery back in the day, and they would keep the cream cold by putting it in barrels and putting it in the river because the Fox River is so cold and the water
Yeah.
just keep on
Oh,
going
no
up
way.
and
That's
cold.
cool. That's
It's
really
really
neat.
cool. So they kept up the tradition of the milk, and then you got the cookies there too. If you
yeah,
miss the
Fox
guy
River.
going around with the cart, you can go down to the counter.
Oh, I see it right here. It's right off the Fox River, literally. Yeah, Inn and Spa, right?
Yeah, and it's not bad. Like if you're going on a Sunday night, it's usually more affordable.
I don't-
Friday, Saturday, they're peak days. It's more expensive.
Don't think I've been to Geneva and actually spent any time there. I'll have to check it
We'll
out.
go out there one day, dude. They got some good
Yeah.
bike trails, good golf out there. If you wanted to go stay out there for like a little family thing, like we normally go to the Northwoods of Wisconsin. Matt's been up there to our family home for like the 4th of July, but there was a year where my brother was sick and we just, or something happened. We couldn't leave or whatever. It was just a couple of years ago. We went out to the Harrington, and then we went to St. Charles for the fireworks show. So they had a huge fireworks show, and it was like this awesome park. They had a little mini golf course. They had like all sorts of snow cones and shit. It's a great family experience, even during COVID. So can't keep us from getting together outside, you sons of bitches, or whatever. I guess you could, but
Won't stop us.
We learned from all that. But so anyway, so all right. So Kev, you said before we got started here that you're probably gonna pick the Chiefs and the Mahomes.
Yeah, we were kind of talking. It's like when you're getting points from when they're giving Patrick Mahomes points. I feel like it's really hard not to bet on. It's almost like free money is what you feel like. But this
Yeah.
Eagle team is really good.
So dangerous.
So good. It's in their defense is their cornerbacks are phenomenal. You know what I mean? I'd say probably the best duo in the league between James Bradbury and Darius Slay. So they might be able to lock up some of those Kansas City receivers. Not that any of them are world beaters by any means.
Right.
Besides their tight end. Travis is obviously probably the best in the game. You know what I mean? Is the best in the game. So the Eagles' defensive front gets after it too. So it's going to be Hassan Reddick. You know what I mean? He's might be the best player on the field for either team.
Yeah.
So it's going to be real interesting. It's going to be hard to go against the Eagles, but right now I'm leaning Chiefs for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, hopefully Mahomes will still be able to play the whole game.
Yeah.
Doesn't worsen the injury, but there's nothing like the experience because he won. How many Super Bowls? He has 2 or what? Or 1?
I think he's only got one. I think he's
One.
been to
He's
2.
been to 2,
Yeah.
won 1, and he lost to the Buccaneers, right? Didn't Brady beat him a couple years ago in the Super Bowl?
Because they won in 2020, was it?
TB12. They lost to TB12. That's
They
right.
won in. Okay, yeah.
I don't remember the year they won.
It was like right
remember
before.
watching it.
It was right before COVID, wasn't it?
And then they went back and lost, I think, against the Buccaneers.
They won in
Yeah,
2020.
fucking steamrolled.
Yeah, 2020. I remember.
2020 is when they won.
And they
remember-
went back in 21 and lost, I think, right? It was,
Yeah.
They were hoping to be a 2-year team, which not many teams do it 2 years in a row, except for like the Patriots or some shit.
I
Right,
remember-
yeah. They would try to go back in 21. Yep, and then
And lost
Tom
with
Brady.
them.
won.
The Buccaneers. The old wily veteran fucking showed the young man, like,
GOAT.
there's levels to this shit.
The GOAT.
There's levels to this
Yeah,
shit.
Meek Mill them for sure.
Yeah.
Now he's got to. Now he's just got to keep playing after going kind of heavy into crypto and coming up short. But
Well, he announced
Brady went a little heavy into crypto.
he announced his permanent retirement, right?
Yeah, so
He just did that. Within the last week, I think he announced it.
oh, he did.
Yeah,
See,
he did.
this shows you how much I follow football. So
Yeah, well, I mean, he
still got a
physically looked
shitload of money.
like he could still play, because I don't remember what their record was this year. They had kind of a rockier record than they had in prior years, but they were still
Wasn't as
good.
good.
Yeah, they were good. They made the playoffs,
Yeah.
one and done. But it's kind of crazy. Speaking of that, like talking about like how Brady over his 20-something year career has made like 300 and something million playing NFL football, right?
Yeah.
It's wild.
The contract that he signed with Fox is 10 years, 350 million
What, for a commentator?
to be a commentator.
Oh, shit.
So he'll make more money in his
Nice.
post-football life than he did while he was playing
And look at that, man.
in half the amount of time.
You can't. What a story he had, because like he escaped major injury throughout most of his career.
Had
And
a
now we
great
get to look at
offensive
that
line.
handsome bastard while he's commentating all the time. We're blessed, man. You know what I mean?
He had a great offensive line.
They're
though,
gonna have to
let's be
turn down the
honest.
lights on the camera, because this guy's gonna have so many Super Bowl rings on when he tries to hold the fucking microphone. They may as well make brass knuckles out of those things.
If you put like Aaron Rodgers next to Tom Brady in like an 20 years from now, like Aaron Rodgers would be a broken old man from all the fucking shots he took, and Brady will still be fine. Like he'll still be out going on runs and shit.
So Aaron Rodgers announced today, he's debating whether or not he's coming back, right?
Yeah.
At
Aaron
all,
Rodgers,
or just for the Packers?
for the Packers or
'Cause
at
they
all?
were, I don't know. They were talking about maybe trading him. or
Both.
something.
Packers probably want to move on with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure he might want to move on from the Packers. So he came out and said he's going to make his decision after he's going to go live in darkness and take hallucinogens for 4 days straight.
Sounds like a great plan.
And then he will make his decision after those 4 days. 4 days of darkness while he is hallucinating.
Just tripping balls.
tripping balls,
I love it.
deciding what if he's going to continue to make.
This is.
I think he's scheduled $40 million next year. Is I think what the Packers owe him.
I was gonna say this is the
shit.
problem of TBI. When you take enough shots, these are the decisions you make. Like that's TBI in real time for you, right?
Well,
here.
you know what's funny, man? Brett Favre was just talking about TBI and concussions, and he was saying if a concussion is getting taken to the ground, hitting your head, and seeing stars, he's like, that happened to me thousands of times in my career. Some were more severe, some weren't, but they kind of go away, the sparkles go away, and you just line up and get your next play in. And it's like, he's right, man. You realize, like, just this morning, I kind of bumped my head, bending over in the car, I'm, moving out quick or something. It wasn't bad, but even a light little bump hurts, and it lingers for a bit. Can you imagine just getting smashed to the ground, like, 20, 30 times a game or something like that?
By 300-pounders that just want to get paid to just level you as hard as they possibly can.
Monsters, bulldozing you.
Yeah, there's doctors out there now that are realizing that there's a lot of hormone issues that result after traumatic brain injuries, and they say that if you can manage those and reduce inflammation, your body will heal much better, and perhaps you might not end up like with dementia,
Like
or
Ali, where
Alzheimer's,
you're like have Parkinson's and shit.
or
yeah.
Parkinson's, yeah. Because Ali obviously was one of the worst cases we'd ever seen of it.
It's pretty bad.
Although he's one of the all-time greats. Rodgers, man, interesting character. He was one of those guys who was like, refused to take the vaccine and objected on various grounds. One of them was just a practical grounds. He said he's allergic to one of the ingredients that they use in there. But he's got that like long-haired rebel guy. He's like, just a good Wisconsin gunslinger like Favre used to be.
He faked the media out up there in Green Bay when they asked him if he was vaccinated. He said, "I'm immunized." Yeah, that's what he said.
immunized.
That's what he told.
Semantics, baby.
Yeah.
Well, natural
And he thought
immunity is immunity.
and that's what he
Natural
thought.
immunity.
He thought from his
CDC said so.
from his
You got to listen to the CDC.
whatever peyote he was doing too, or something like that. He went on some other, I don't know if he was microdosing mushrooms or something like that, but he was also
Hell yeah.
saying that he came back off of that, like, oh yeah, everything. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need that vaccine now because
Well,
I'm good.
Yeah.
if a bag of mushrooms will give you immunity, let's all bust one open
I
right
guess
now,
so.
gentlemen. Like,
Give me a cap and a stem, Brian. Give me a cap and a
cap
stem.
and a stem. I've never tried them, so maybe I'll start off with a cap or a stem, either one of them. Maybe I'll sprinkle them on my salad. Got to stay healthy over here on the south side.
Yeah, mushrooms are good for you, right?
they are.
So
I guess they're natural.
Fried up with some garlic,
put it on a steak.
It's just a
Well,
trippiest
au jus.
steak you ever had. Am I eating the steak or is the steak eating me? It's inside me. I'm becoming one with it. So yeah, it's tough to say, man. I think I go with Matt. It's very very hard for me to make a pick. You know, I don't follow this stuff as closely, so I rely on
I don't either.
other people who know more. Corelli's probably knows every stat down to the friggin' player. Kevin owns a friggin' sports website, so he's got to be up on his sports stuff, and so I don't know. I guess I'll just go with Chiefs just because of the experience of Patrick Mahomes, and we'll see if that comes through. It's hard to bet on an injured man, but
I no disrespect to Mahomes. This is entirely selfish of me. My pick for this game, I'm gonna go with the Eagles just to be devil's advocate, and because an ex of mine was a big Kansas City Chiefs fan, so I got to go with the Eagles on this one, just to spite her. So yeah.
oh, you're a karma killer,
Yeah,
man.
I know.
It's gonna come back to kick you in the ass or something.
I hope
Hopefully
I
not.
hope Mahomes remains uninjured though. I don't want to see him get fucked
Me
up.
too.
Like,
The guy's a great
yeah.
dude, making all those awesome State Farm commercials. Seems like a great guy with a bright future ahead of him, and hopefully it lasts.
But to see both teams at their best, right? You know,
Yes.
give me both teams the
Yes.
best. Give me the best game possible.
the best possible.
And I think it is. I think it is the two best teams in the league this year. You know what I mean? Which is great. Which is we're fortunate to be able to see this game. So I'm excited.
Yeah. They neither of them faltered, throughout the season, and it's great when you get to see the best possible matchup. Like if it's a fight, same weight, same height, same record, you know what I mean? Like this is gonna be good, man.
I gotta caveat that though. I'm not gonna be thrilled either way though, because the fallout. Remember when Bill Burr just he was doing stand up in Philly and he just shit on everything that Philly was about and believed in, and he was getting booed and he just roasted them, freestyle roasted them for 30 minutes
But
straight.
they came back to him or no?
Yeah,
They liked him?
I think it
Just
was
talking shit.
it was all in good faith. Right? It was all just a good ball busting session. But did you see the last time some of the footage of the last time the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl, the pandemonium that occurred in Philadelphia?
They destroyed the city or what?
He basically, not so much destroyed the city, but more I remember watching one video. There's a crowd out celebrating, and there was literally a bunch of Eagles fans, and there was a man. There was some I think there was some mounted horse police that went through, and the horses left droppings, in the street. And I watched a Philadelphia Eagles fan eat horse shit off the street in a video, because they dared him to. That was the Eagles fans, and so. Maybe
Dude, they
maybe
got
I do
good
want the
Philly
Chiefs
cheese.
to win. I just don't know.
They do have good Philly cheesesteaks there. Why would you eat horse shit?
I know you
I mean,
have
that would be
so
my
many
last
great
possible
options
choice.
there. Yeah,
maybe he
really.
ate the mushrooms first and just seemed
They're
like
like, do it, pussy, do it. He's like, yeah, I will.
Dude, apparently that's a really rowdy city, man.
Yeah, it looks that way.
They say there were stories I was listening on Rogan. They were saying people be waiting in line for food late at night after leaving bars, and they'll just start fighting in line. People start talking shit to each other,
But they booed Santa Claus, right? Isn't that the famous Philadelphia Eagles? They had Santa Claus out there on Christmas Eve or something like that, and they started booing him.
Booed Santa
Yeah,
Claus?
they booed Santa Claus, man.
What the fuck?
They
That's a rough place.
Degenerate.
Eli Manning tells a funny story about this 9-year-old giving the double bird. You know what I mean?
9-year-old
kid? 9-year-old kid from Philly giving
They
me the
teach
double
him early
bird,
to just
you
be
know?
an asshole.
So,
Family Guy pointed out that they're they do these spoofs. So every once in a while in their shows, they'll do one where they'll do a few different movies where they do a little spoof of it during the episode, and it'll be 10 minutes per each part of it. And they did one on Rocky in Philadelphia. They're welcome to Philadelphia, the home of brotherly love, and also just savage crazy fighting people or something like that. Whatever they point out, it's a bunch of crazy people. 9-year-olds giving you the double birds. Holy
double
shit!
bird.
Where'd you learn that from, kid?
Yeah.
I mean, that might have been me when I was his age, but
and more than likely.
yeah, I was so impressionable when I was younger. You tell me fuck the Packers, and I'd have probably been yelling at the whole game. Fuck yeah, guys! That's a good kid there. Somebody taught him well. Nowadays, everybody's like, those kids can't say that word.
Yeah.
Safe space,
It shifted a bit, the cultural
It used to be
spectrum.
rowdy here in Chicago, man. Those sports games and shit. I have a buddy who came with me. We were at the Sox game, and he started yelling something with one of the pitchers. He's like, pull this guy out of there, blah, blah. And he's like, people are kind of looking, one of the dudes laughing. I'm like, you need at least one of those guys at these games.
You got to keep it
carry on
interesting,
tradition.
man.
To yell and show their outrage at the decision-making on the field. What do you got, Kev, as far as our...
It's fun, you know what I mean? When you're going with somebody who's acting like a jackass, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you're kind of
It takes
Tone it
a
down a
lot
little
of
bit.
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as long as it's as long as it's funny or whatever, like, I'll give you an example. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but this was a pretty solid one-liner. We were at a high school basketball game at St. Joe's, and we took that shit real seriously because they were like multi-time state champions. They didn't win it when I was there, but they won it in like 99 and 2016 after I was out. But there was this guy from another team, and he was number 25. And I was like, hey, you, number 25, let me get a cheeseburger and a small fry because you'll be serving McDonald's for the rest of your life or some shit like that. Just trying to get in these guys' heads. I was yelling this shit at them, bro. I remember it's this very day. I remember all these people. I was like, shit. I was just yelling
bars
at them,
at
hey, you. And I was like, I can't believe it. It was just one of those things that came out, and it was like perfect, you know. But,
Nice.
Kevin, you were talking about some prop bets before we got started.
Yeah, we were kind of looking at some things. So, one of the major ones, I think, one of the bigger prop bets, if you want to call it that, is Super Bowl MVP, right? Who's going to win this Super Bowl MVP? So, kind of going back over, who has won it recently and stuff like that, right? It's an offensive award, right? 3 defensive players have won it in the last 21 years. That's it, which is kind of interesting. Both times that those defensive players won it, one of them was Von Miller, who won it when the Broncos won it, who won the Super Bowl. And if you remember, Peyton Manning didn't have a great game that game. He didn't even have any touchdowns or anything like that. So, so when you look at the Super Bowl odds, you're going to have your favorites, right? You're going to have your Jalen Hurts, your Patrick Mahomes, your Travis Kelce's. Those all, you're not going to get the best odds of those. So those might make you a couple bucks, right? But that's not your best odds, right? Your best odds are going to be those guys that got those, huge pluses, right? That when you're going through your bet. So looking at it, Miles Sanders is one that a lot of people are picking. Devonta Smith, the wide receiver, is another one. One that I really like. Now it is a long shot, right? But he's plus 12,500. Okay, ooh. So it's Kenneth Gainwell. Kenneth Gainwell is the Kenneth Gainwell is a backup running back. Okay. To the Eagles. Okay. So Eagles are going to run the rock. Okay, they're going to run the rock. They run the rock all year around, right? They're not going to stop in the Super Bowl. This is what got them there. They're going to run the rock. Yeah. They're going to run the rock with Jalen Hurts. They're going to run the rock with Miles Sanders. They're going to run the rock with Kenneth Gainwell. In fact, Kenneth Gainwell has outrushed Miles Sanders in these playoffs so far. Yeah. So he has gained more yards than him on less carries. Miles Sanders has 28 carries, and Kenneth Gainwell's only got 26 so far this postseason. So for a long shot, right, 12,500, put a couple bucks down on Kenneth Gainwell, and let's see what it does for you. Yes, he's a backup running back. But let's be honest. I mean, you throw $10 on him, that you're looking at a hell of a payday. You know what I mean? Where if you put $10 on Patrick Mahomes, you're making $12. You know what I mean? Who cares? So keep that in mind. You know what I mean?
You have to spend a ton of money on Mahomes to win anything if he's MVP, but that's a tough one, man. When he's hurt, it's just hard to make that bet. But if you had enough money where you could spend enough to make a lot, make it worthwhile, it'd be good. But. So that's we had the prop bet for MVP.
MVP's a good one. Another one that I really, really like. Let me see if I can find it. So I always have one about the Gatorade. Yeah. Gatorade is a huge one. I actually had a buddy who works for PepsiCo who owns Gatorade. So in years past, I've been able to kind of get, hey, there's 3 of this color on this sideline. There's 4 of this color because they're all not the same flavor. Every one of those Gatorade, 5, 10 gallon, whatever jugs they call cooler jugs they are. They're all different flavors in there. But one thing that I was kind of interested on is if you put $100, right? Take $100 out of your pot. Right. You put $46 on it's yellow green is what MGM calls it, right? Yellow or green, lemon lime, right? That's a pretty traditional flavor. If you go back and you look, the Eagles when they won the NFC had lemon lime. Okay, so what are the chances they're not going to have lemon lime on the Super Bowl? Right. Hey. Probably pretty slow.
That's solid bet.
Probably pretty low. So if you think the Eagles are going to win, I think you would bet lemon lime, right? That makes the most sense to me. When the Chiefs win, they usually have orange. Orange is usually when the Chiefs win.
Orange is a good flavor. It was one of the originals.
Good flavor. So if you take $100, you put $46 on yellow or green, You put $43 on orange, which is plus 300. The yellow and green is only plus 275. Then you take that extra, $10, $11 that you have left over, and you just put no Gatorade bath, right? Hedge it a little bit for no Gatorade bath. There's been 2 of those in the last 20 years where they don't show it on TV, the guy getting the Gatorade bath, okay? So
Yeah, they do show that. Anybody wins, man. You gotta
it's
get
huge,
Gatorade,
but there's been 2 in the last 20 where there's been
They
none.
get into it. So there's a bet for that.
So there's a bet that you can hedge it, yes.
It's a remote
So
one,
when you hedge it, it's plus 1,400. So every dollar you win, you're getting $14 back. Every dollar you bet, you're going to win $14 if it wins.
If they don't have a Gatorade bath.
If they don't have a Gatorade
For the winning
bath.
coach or whatever.
Yep. So take $100, kind of spread it out a little bit, but using that theory, you're bound to win money.
Yeah, you're gonna win something.
You're going to win something. So
If you bet multiple prop bets with $100.
if you just take that Gatorade bet.
Oh, just a Gatorade.
Yeah, and kind of break it out like we were kind of talking about.
That's an interesting one, man. The
It
colors
is.
of the Gatorade
I wouldn't
that they're
even
using.
think
for the
to
flavors.
bet on something like that myself. Like,
Dude, there's probably
people bet on everything.
If you ever listen, you guys know Artie Lang. He used to be on he's first of all famous comedian, movie star, and he used to be on Howard Stern.
Horrendous drug addict too.
And a degenerate gambler.
Yeah.
He's like, people like me are the reason that like bookies used to record the phone calls, because he'd be like, I'd be so high and coked out of my mind that I would bet on one team and then call them back an hour later to bet on the opposing team. You know, like, you just called us an hour ago to bet on the Cowboys. It's like, no, I didn't. He's like, put another 10,000 on so and so, whatever. Like, well, yes, that's because they'll bet on anything. He's like, dude. He's like, you go to these places, they'll bet on like high school lacrosse from like Minnesota and shit like that. You know what I mean?
The girls team, yeah.
The girls high school lacrosse team.
Sorry, girl sports is fun. Don't hate me, YouTube.
Yes, that's great. You know, there's
Equal opportunity
we weren't pointing it out, we're
podcast
just
here.
saying that
Especially women's MMA. Awesome.
Fuck yeah, we love MMA, all kinds of it. But yeah, no, it's the point is just like they're betting on high school sports, not that it's female necessarily. But what else you got? Any other good ones on there?
Yeah, so Kenneth Gainwell, then we just kind of mentioned him a little bit for that Super Bowl, or for the MVP. Another prop bet that he's got is over or under 1.5 receptions. Okay, so over or under, is he going to catch 2 passes in the game, or is he only going to catch 1 or none? Okay, the Chiefs' defense gives up the second most targets to running backs throughout the entire season. Kenneth Gainwell is obviously the running back, right? They gave up the most receptions to a running back all the entire season, and the 4th most yards to a running back for the entire season. What does that tell you? It tells you that they don't play very much. They don't play the flat very well, right? That underneath coverage. So I think a lot of that might be open, right, for Jalen Hurts to take advantage of with some of those linebackers on the Chiefs team, to be able to get him out in some space and get him some couple catches, because he needs 2 catches, which is not a lot. So you can make some money there.
So what's the odds with that one? What do you bet for every dollar you bet?
I don't know if I have the odds on here. I don't. So it'll probably depend on your actual app that you use, or whatever site you go through. But
Why they give different odds for stuff like that?
oh yeah, like MGM will have the odds at one point. DraftKings will have them at a different amount, and it all depends on the juice that you pay to the book on that kind of stuff too. So
Interesting.
all that stuff matters too.
Man, I got to learn betting terminology. I'm such a novice with that.
I can't get involved in it. I see what happens to some of the folks I know, some of my buddies I know, and how much money they have in play on some of these bets. And my guy was explaining to me, like, okay, I've got to have like 6 stars aligned. This has got to happen. The second thing's got to happen. The third thing, and so on to the 6th thing. And if I would just win all 6 things, all these 6 things occur in a row, I will make like $20,000 whatever for the money I put in. I'm like, and it never happens.
No,
like, and it's just like
parlays are very hard to hit.
Yeah, I'm just like, that sounds awesome in the remote chance that it occurs and all the stars align, but I would just be like on pins and needles, like, I wouldn't be able to even enjoy watching the game, I don't think, if I got too much money riding on it. I could never relax, I would bet, a little here and there, but then it's just like, I know me, and it would spiral, and it would snowball, and I would just
start chasing.
Yeah. So
I never was a gambling guy.
No,
we went to a
never
casino for my buddy's 21st or something, and I paid, I bet like $20 or something. This was when $20 was $20.
Yeah.
I won 45, and I paid for the drinks that night. And that tells you how far money used to go when we were 21, bro. Like, you used to be able to go to, like, we were at a casino in Indiana, whatever it was. I don't know if it was Horseshoe
it's Indiana,
or whatever.
yeah. Horseshoe, baby, yes.
Dude, I mean,
Used to go
obviously
there.
the drinks were cheap. They wanted you to stay there drinking and keep on spending your money, but paid for all the drinks for the night, and then we went back and fucking...
The buffet,
we did.
like it was like $23 all you can eat buffet, and it was just like more food than I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, it was horrendous. And yeah, you just drink all those are to hit the buffet, drink, and watch like I don't know, like Tales from the Crypt Cats like spend their like last dying years there. They have like an oxygen tank. They'd be like on oxygen, smoking.
Oh yeah.
Because that's not dangerous at all. Pulling the slot machine and like spending their Social Security like until the clock ran out. Like that was the horseshoe.
And they bus them in.
Yeah,
They bus them in by the
From,
bus
like, the
load.
senior homes and shit, or the churches. and
that's
shit.
wild.
Jesus
I'm like, this
Christ.
cannot. I mean, is this what I have to look forward to in life? This is like dying at the horseshoe at the slot. Just
No, man. I'll die on the golf course instead, bro. I'll be out
Okay,
there
yeah.
swinging a club, exercising,
Yeah.
or some fucking thing.
I want to die on a boat. That'd be nice. Yeah, that'd be a good place to go. Boat floating on the waves. Good way
You've
to go.
thought about this.
Yeah. nice sunny day. Not too many clouds. Good way to go. Couple of drinks
Just
in
go
me.
wherever the current takes you.
Yeah. Like, why is that boat ran aground on shore? Yeah, that was old man Thomassen. He looks like he just checked out. Like,
Word has his treasure's buried somewhere around.
Yar.
that boat. Yar. He was searching to find it in his dying days. Never got to take advantage of the money. Spend it while you're alive. You can't take it with you.
Last one I got is Patrick Mahomes to throw an interception. Okay, so you could bet that. So Mahomes had 12
got
interceptions
12 this year, yeah.
throughout the regular season.
Yeah.
Has none so far this postseason, so he's doing good there. But Philly did pick off opposing quarterbacks 17 times last season. So that's on attempt. That's what a game, right? Because they're playing 17 games now. That's
pretty good.
So that makes me lean towards like that. Patrick Mahomes in his last 2 Super Bowls has thrown 4 interceptions.
No shit.
Yeah.
Big
'Cause
game
you're going for
players
big.
still under
Yeah.
pressure.
Yeah.
So 4 total interceptions over his last 2 Super Bowls. 12 out of the 17 games he threw a pick. Well, I guess 12 of 19 if you count the 2 postseason. And then the Eagles got a pick in 17 of 17 regular season games.
Oh, they've gotten picks because their defense is just picking people off.
Their cornerbacks are elite. And the reason why they do so well with their cornerbacks and their secondary is their pass rush is second to none. I mean, it's really phenomenal.
Yeah.
Hassan Reddick he's a game changer. He's an absolute game changer. And if he gets to Patrick multiple times, which, the Chiefs O-line does pretty well in pass protection, you know what I mean? So, and Patrick gets the ball out pretty quick too. So, I mean, like we've said 100 times, it's going to be an awesome game. But I think a potential late turnover, something like that, is what we're looking
What
at.
might make the difference? Is 12 interceptions low for a quarterback in a regular season?
I wouldn't say low. No, low would be like 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Tied for 26.
Yeah.
It looks like.
So not middle of the packish. You know what I mean? Not wonderful, but not not Jake Cutler territory or anything like that.
Dude, those names are better left forgotten. Cutler was a tough guy, but they didn't put an O-line around him. He was like,
No, he was
Rodgers getting
extremely
smashed, man.
tough. Yeah, he was very tough.
He was, man. The guy got his ass beat pretty bad on the.
And last one that's not going to make you a ton of money, but Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. He has 15 rushing touchdowns in the 17 regular season games. He's got the 5th most rushing yards and the 6th most rushing TDs. The Chiefs give up the 5th most rushing yards and the 6th most rushing TDs to opposing teams' quarterbacks. So I think between those couple stats, I think that's something to keep an eye out for. Jalen Hurts also has rushed for a touchdown 7 of his last 9 games. So Jalen Hurts, anytime touchdown, not going to make you a ton of money. You are favored, though. It's plus 112. So you are getting, you know what I mean? You're getting the odds in your favor, which is pretty nice. So I think with his production, I think it's a hell of a bet, especially to be getting the odds.
Good deal. Anything you wanted to add, Matt, at all?
No. I think we've covered the pertinent odds pretty well, honestly. Yeah.
Do you gonna stick around for a little bit longer? You need to wrap it up.
I think I'm gonna have to adjourn here. I gotta go. I gotta attend to some business for the fam. So, yeah.
Well, I'll keep on rapping with Kevin for a bit. He's going to tell us about sports mockery and how it all got started.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's been real. Thanks for having me on. Always a great time here.
For sure, brother. Yeah. No, we're already at the 40-minute mark, so we'll probably go maybe 20 minutes more or so until we find a natural endpoint. But is there anything left in there?
Not really.
A little
Finish
swig.
it off, brother.
A little swig.
A little swig.
That's what the
least I can
Irish
do.
guys in Boston have with their cigarette the next morning, you know?
That's the least I could do. If I didn't do it, Connor will come out the fucking woodwork and punch me in the face.
He might.
Why are you not drinking my whiskey? Oh God, I'm sorry, Connor. Wait. Don't hit me again.
Please don't do that again.
He punched an old man in a Dublin bar for not taking a shot that he was offering him.
That's
The
what
help
that
you
was
need,
story
Connor.
was?
Yeah, he was going
dick
through
move.
promoting the
Yeah.
whiskey, and he was going around with the bottle, and he was saying, would you like a drink, blah blah. The guy said no, and he waited for a couple of minutes, and when the guy wasn't looking, he's like, I don't want any. Like he didn't like him I don't know if he made a comment to him or something.
He like cheap shotted him
cheap-shotted
too,
him, yeah.
and it was like an older guy, like a middle-aged guy with some gray in hair. You know.
People were giving him shit. They're like, you can't even knock an old guy off a bar stool with a punch.
Yeah, and the guy was just like, he was like, yeah. He didn't go
barely
down.
flinched.
Yeah.
They got video of it?
yeah,
Yeah,
I can see
he just cracked. I don't think Connor put everything into it, obviously, but he just wrapped him kind of sharp, and the guy was just like, oh fuck, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah, he got him a good one, and they were giving him shit, saying, "No, you didn't knock him out or knock him off the stool." They got an interview with that guy in the media the next day. He's like, "Dude, my face was ringing pretty bad." He's like, the next day I was in pain. He's like, "Dude, it was hurting."
Especially when
pretty
it
fucking
comes unawares, sort of, and you're like you're not even like coming
You
back
break
like
a
that.
cheekbone or an orbital bone or
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, man.
something.
An orbital, dude. People don't realize how easy they are to break if you get blasted straight on, or you just get a good shot you're not expecting.
Yeah, it helps to kind of anticipate a little bit, you know, like when you know where a shot's going to come from, you can kind of come back with it or try to dodge. If you're going the same direction of the punch, it just lessens the impact. It really sucks when you're just like caught unawares, and it's just like you're not fucking compensating or mitigating for the punch.
An unhinged person.
Yeah.
To be punching old man. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
it's-
That's not the Irish father
No, it's
that I raised.
bullshit.
The tradition I got from my fucking father, punching old people. Jesus Christ. But anyway, whatever. I don't want to shit on him too much. But
Speaking of odds, though, so we're talking about McGregor, and we'll re-segue back to where you're going. I guess after I dip, but McGregor, Chandler, who do we like? Who do we like for this when they eventually clash?
Michael Chandler, I'll put my money
Chandler
on probably
as well for me. Yeah.
McGregor coming back in a comeback fight, like after one of the most horrific injuries you could possibly have. Like in boxing, they'll usually give a guy a couple of tune-up fights. You'll fight 2 or 3 guys to build your confidence, get your legs back underneath you, get used to the feeling of being in there and being in a fight or flight and punching people. But
Yeah.
he's going to be facing one of the best guys in the sport, all coming back off an injury. And
Because when he fought Poirier was beating him handily until McGregor, broke his shin, basically, just fractured his leg. But Chandler and Poirier at some points that fight was fighting for his life, basically, from Chandler. Like, Chandler was all over him. He's a fucking beast. And I don't think Conor can weather that storm like Poirier. He couldn't even handle Poirier. So
I wouldn't write him off completely, but my money would be on Chandler.
I think he's going to get smashed. Yeah.
When's the last time Conor won a fight?
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Cowboy, right?
I think.
Cowboy,
Yeah.
which was 4 years ago,
Something like that.
Yeah.
if not more.
And Cowboy was at the ass end. Was that his last fight in the UFC?
He had a couple
Absolute
more
ass
after
end
that,
of
but
his
that was-
career,
I think
basically.
it was maybe did 2 more after that and just retired.
Yeah.
He's in a better place now. Apparently, he started taking like TRT, and he's been lifting a lot of weights.
big now.
They said he's like almost a heavyweight, dude. Right now,
Jesus.
they said he's about a heavyweight, but he looks good. He feels good, and
Post USADA life.
yeah, he won. yeah, didn't have to worry about it. But he had some issues
Lit.
that he needed to take care of, and apparently he's been working with doctors, and he's in a much better place now. But yeah, I think don't remember the year that was, but yeah, it was just before COVID, and he just came at him like a fucking marauder and just smashed him, and he got lucky. That's a fight that should have happened probably 3 or 4 years earlier because they were talking shit to each other in press conferences, and it was just one of those things where McGregor was still had his shit and Cowboy didn't, and got smashed and embarrassed. I felt bad for the guy.
You guys heard the Jose Aldo that he admitted that Conor did put red panties on his door to his hotel.
Wow.
Oh, I mean,
It's a red party night.
The guy's awesome.
Yeah, he's hysterical.
His fight lead up and his entertainment value is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, so the probably the best I would say in terms of Conor's ability to like create drama and promote a fight. Probably better than
he sells it better than anyone else.
Anyone else.
I mean, he can WWE sell it. You know what I mean? Like he can promo it and get on the mic and give you everything you need.
Sometimes it goes a little much, a little far, but that's what's entertaining about it. It's like, oh wow, Conor, like you're gonna ride into his favela on horseback and conquer it, like with a fucking sword.
Yeah, he was saying when he was fighting, although he was like, he's like, I'll ride horseback into your favela, flatten that fucking dump, and I'll make a gym on there. And like, the shit he was saying
got right in his head too. It worked. It actually it worked.
Oh, he's throwing chairs. You know what I mean? Pref con. Well, with the whole bus incident and
that
all
was
that.
bad. That was stupid.
that was bad.
Very stupid.
It
was like a dolly, wasn't it?
He took a fucking dolly, and his fighters were injured. A couple fights had to be canceled because there was shattered glass and went in there. And one guy who got a settlement from Conor was Michael Chiesa, I think it was. So he probably made a good buck off that, maybe more than he does for fighting.
Conor.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was one of the fights that had to get canceled because he was fucking injured from that thing flying through the window. It's like, yeah, it gives him this like gangster kind of Tupac image, but it's like it was weird because somebody let him in the doors. There's footage of all it, and it's like, if there's cameras around, like, were you already filming, or is this like a pre-staged event? It was fucking crazy, and the aftermath of it all was this one of the most interesting brawls you'd ever seen in UFC history after a fight was over. Like when Khabib beat Conor, he hopped over the fence and found Conor McGregor's training partner Dylan Dennis and got in his face and was trying to slap him around. And then Conor got sucker punched by one of the Khabib's teams who went in the free ring. Everybody was fighting. It was huge melee. And that was one of those things where you have to worry. You're like, holy shit, is that whole place going to be up for grabs? It just turns into like a free-for-all. Like,
what was it? Ron Artest, when he went into that Detroit crowd, right? And started fighting everybody. You guys remember that? Back
like punching people.
That was a long time ago, but
you
got that vibe, right? Like of all these people jumping in and all this.
It's like, oh, you were talking shit?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk it to my fucking face. Like, let's talk it toe to toe. Let's fucking scrap it out. Yeah. That's what I couldn't believe about Khabib. Like he's the most game ass motherfucker. Like he just beats a world class fighter in the octagon. I don't know how many was that in the third round he tapped him out or
fourth, I think.
Fourth, yeah. So it wasn't like he had expended a significant amount of gas. That just shows you how much like confidence Khabib has in himself. He can beat a world class fighter, choke him out, leap over the octagon and get into a fist fight with random people in the crowd too. He still has gas in the tank for that. Like absolute legend.
Maybe the best of all time. And he gave an interview after one of those victories. I can't remember if it was Poirier. It might have been Poirier. And he goes, Dana White, you give me 1 hour rest, I will beat any of these bullshit fighters. He's like Conor McGregor, Tony Ferguson, Justin Gaethje. He's like, I'll beat any of these motherfuckers. I was like, damn, dude, he's probably right. Yeah. Give him 1 hour's rest accurate. After the first one. He just comes back out and mauls him again.
These bullshit fighters. They're all world-class fighters. These bullshit fighters.
For him, it's like he's already made up his mind. He's so mentally determined I'll beat any single one of them. And now you have his, like, protege cousin guy who's at the top of the 155-pound division.
Either of you guys catch the Fedor fight over the weekend?
No, who won that?
Fedor lost. I know that. I didn't see it. I just saw that. I just read the highlights of it.
Dude, he's got to be about 40 or maybe.
They said 40. That he said that was his last professional fight.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't know he was even still fighting.
One of the best of all time. I would have just one of those guys where they probably fight one too many fights.
I still wouldn't fight him even at when he's 60 years old. I'd get murdered. Yeah.
I would love to have him as like security. I feel so safe. Thank you, Fedor.
Yeah.
Just not afraid of shit.
Just push someone away and just grab their face and just throw them to the ground.
Just hammers his fist. You know what I mean? He just gets a hold of you. You're done. I mean, you're KO'd.
Oh yeah. If you go back and look at some of the fights that guy took in his career, just smashed people.
Mm-hmm. Very scary. And his whole, you ever see that whole Fedor training regimen? He's like in the sauna, then he's in like some freezing like Arctic water, and then he's like, running in like shorts in like through the Ural Mountains, like in the tundra or some shit, like that like hardcore like rural Russian training regimen, whatever the fuck it is. And where I don't know what they do. They eat nothing but like raw fish and vodka. I'm making this up. I have no idea. But apparently it works. Yeah. But yeah, when he was a younger guy, like just almost unstoppable. And his brother too, Fedor's brother. Was he? What was he? Was he kickboxing?
I don't know.
Or
I didn't even know he had a brother.
yes, he has a younger brother who's extremely dangerous, and I don't know whether it's some form of like fucking Russian kickboxing or something. I'm ignorant about this, but I saw some of his fights, and he's a scary motherfucker too. Like Fedor he's got a brother.
Fighting's like religion over there.
Yeah.
They take it very seriously. They train every single day. There's not a break. They don't care about the media, the limelight. They just want to be good at fighting. And I was listening to Chicago fighter Bilal Muhammad, who was like a number 5 or number 6 guy in the UFC welterweight division. And he was saying, I trained with Khabib and Islam and all those guys in their gym. He's like, they're a different kind of strong, man. They're very manly kind of strong.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, Khabib was training with me, and he had me in some holds, and he's like talking to people on the side while he had me wrapped up, and there's nothing I could do about it. It's like, dude, you're almost a UFC champion, and this guy does that to you. It's kind of crazy.
It is.
I'm scared of people that are that strong, dude. Because you're like,
you never
what
know.
can I do to defend myself against him? I couldn't.
Well, if you walk up to Khabib, like, you know, in a 7-Eleven or something like that, he just looks like kind of a unassuming guy. You know, he's maybe like in a hoodie or something. He's not huge, you know, and it's not something you would be like, oh shit, like there's a bear. You know, some people are like refrigerator size. They walk through the door, you're like, no way, this is a man bear. But you know, a guy like Khabib, you don't know. Some of these guys who train regularly, especially some of the jiu-jitsu guys, they just look like regular folks, you know, unassuming, and you don't want to cross them. You don't want to get wrong because they'll strangle your ass. But yeah, I'm just seeing here. Speaking of scary people, Alexander Emelianenko, he is.
That's a brother.
That's Fedor's brother. He is a 3-time Russian national combat sambo champion and 3-time world combat sambo champion in the absolute division. So. Yeah, it runs in the family. The straight killers.
Dude, yeah. Beating the Russian guys alone, man. Those are tough people, bro. Tough people.
Yeah.
And Matt turned me on to, if you ever just need a good laugh or you want to, like, enjoy some chaos, there's these videos on YouTube you can watch. What's called Meanwhile in Russia.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, like, trucks going off the road, car accidents.
Everyone's drunk.
Oh, just getting wild.
Falling off of shit way up in the air, stuff going into the river when they're trying to cross through with trucks. And
skating with bears. Like I've literally watched videos where they have like a pet bear and they'll be on ice skates and the bear will be like towing them on the ice. They're like skating with bears. It's like a dog sled.
They fight, drink, and play hockey.
Yeah.
Like that's what these.
Yeah,
that's what they do.
Well, apparently they have a good sense of humor too. They say that people that come up in very tough environments and cold environments and hard, like they just.
I mean,
when you watch those, videos, the Meanwhile in Russia, you hear them in the background.
You're like, do it, pussy. Like,
they're just laughing, having a good time, and cracking jokes.
I would love to. I had my first introduction to civilian college was with a Russian guy. He was a guy who was catty-cornered to me in my dorm room freshman year of college. And so I was coming out of the Naval Academy. I spent my first semester in college at the Naval Academy. Then I went to civilian college, and so we couldn't drink as freshmen at USNA. So, but when I got to civilian college, it was like freshman year, everyone's hammered all the time. We're partying, and my next door neighbor in the dorm was a Russian guy, and so he's like, yeah, come over here. We're gonna get your college experience started properly. And so he busts out, this like select, like nice, like Russian vodka or whatever, just shots, hookah, shots. And I don't remember my first weekend in civilian college. I have no idea what occurred. It's a blur.
Russians like hookahs?
Yeah, he did. I don't know if it's a Russian thing, but he did.
Hookahs are nice, man. They're a very relaxing thing to do.
Yeah, and I woke up later that weekend. At the end of a hallway by the trash cans. We had the trash cans at the end of the dorm hallways. I was probably puking the trash can earlier or something. I don't remember. But I woke up and that was my first introduction to civilian college with a Russian dude. And I was going to say, like, I like partying with Russians, but I can't keep up with them. And I'm from Wisconsin, okay, where it's a land of functioning alcoholics up there. Like we're not known for skimping on our drinks. But the Russians are a whole different level, especially that hard liquor. Like, whiskey, we can put down a lot of beer, but like in terms of just like drinking straight vodka and stuff, dude, the Russians, I mean, they grew up on it. They're on a whole different level.
Mouthwash to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very used to it. They're probably just now genetically evolved. Their system processes it really well or something. But they're all tough, man. And there was this kid who was an exchange or like kind of like exchange student or something from the Ukraine when I was a kid, and I fancied myself a pretty tough kid for a smaller guy. I was getting into it with him in my basement one time, and he fucking judo fucking threw me, kind of like a Ronda Rousey type of thing or something.
Yeah.
Wow, that kid was strong, man. Like, I was like, how did you learn this stuff? And he's like, they teach us in school from a young age. Like, part of their like physical education is martial arts training. And dude, he did it like reflexive. They must be standing there on match, just literally throwing people over,
that's
just
your gym
again
class.
and again. And dude, I'm lucky I didn't get hurt real bad because he threw me pretty good, and that's a hard tile floor we had in our basement growing up. So I don't know, I got lucky, man. I dodged a bullet there, but those people, man, they all, because we're in a time when the Soviet Union just fell, because this was the early 90s. I'm messing around with this kid. I was born in 84. I was probably like, 92, 93. And, 7, 8 years old or 9 years old. And he was like, yeah, dude, we do this shit in fucking school, man. He's like, they train us. He's like, all my friends, all the kids in school, boys, girls, they all know how to fight. They teach them all how to fight from a very young age. I wish I did that shit here, you know what I mean? Maybe these fucking people would be politer, right? I can kick your ass. I can kick your ass. All right, man. You can go in front of me. Go ahead.
But at least the knowledge that it might be resolved with, like a grappling match or some fist throwing is going to make people think twice, right? Like it's just like sort of an old school method of resolving your problems, as opposed to like nowadays people are just like, they feel they can just talk shit and act like an asshole without any consequences. And if there is, even if you slap somebody around or whatever, like a lot of times the cops are called, and maybe not so much here because cops are they're kind of tapped out like with other stuff, but elsewhere it's just like the first thing, cops are called, they're there on the scene. It's just like you can't even have a physical disagreement with somebody like without getting some cuffs on you in some places.
I'm just more worried about people pulling a gun here.
Yes, and that's another thing. Like, why does it have to go that way? I feel like back in the day things were more settled, just with like
there wasn't a coward,
like a
fisticuffs. Hey,
fisticuffs.
come on, man, let's handle this like a man. Police used to duke it out with people in the streets. It's like sometimes we'd let them go after we had a good scrap with them. I talked to police officers like, yeah, we used to sort it out, and then sometimes we got the better of it, sometimes we got the worse of it. I'm like, all right, just don't do that again or whatever.
Yeah, like
golden bygone era.
I feel like that's maybe. I don't know. Like, I feel like that's maybe better than just like the default. All right, I'm gonna pull a gun on somebody. Like, whoa, wait a minute. You skipped like this is like what happened to the escalation of force? You skipped like 3 levels
Kick
here,
me,
man.
punch me, bite me. Try to do something else before you shoot me.
First, we have logically talking this out. Then we have fighting when that doesn't work. Then we have blunt objects, right? Then we may have sharp objects like knives. And finally, we have projectiles like guns. There's a whole like tiers of this shit we can go through before, but now it's like oh, okay, pull the gun. Wait a minute, you skipped so many steps, man. Like, I just feel it's kind of bullshit.
Just for cutting you off in traffic.
Yeah.
Dude, it's pretty crazy.
You shouldn't go directly to that.
Shot all the time over road rage shit now. That's why I'm fucking trying to watch it, man. I try to observe what other people are doing and just avoid them if they're fucking nuts,
I know. It's been a learning experience for me driving here, coming from Wisconsin. I just have to like, it would piss me off so much with these people driving recklessly. I'm just like, you son of a bitch. I'm like, no, I don't know if they're on cocaine and they're strapped or whatever. What if they throw a Mac-10 out the window, or they just ram me, with their busted ass hoopty? And it's like, I'm just not. I just, what? Do you, boo? Do you?
Well, the thing for you, Matt, is it's tough to learn in reverse. Like, we grew up with this. We're used to it. Although, I feel like even after COVID, people have been more temperamental on the roads or whatever. But, it's worse than it ever has been. Like, in this area where this office is, where my house is at, like, down by my house right now, there's a street that it's supposed to be like a regular side street, but it's like a thoroughfare. People are getting pissed because the trains are blocking off the neighborhood, and they're just flying down there without going through the stop signs. Granted, they put too many stop signs in there. It's so many that there's literally one at every block. It's like, it's annoying to like accelerate your car and then have to come to a complete stop. So I kind of get it. But like, these people aren't even faking a yield anymore. They're just going through. I'm like, Jesus Christ, if somebody's coming off the side street and they think that you're going to stop and you go out there, you have a real bad accident. But for you to learn first, for me, I'm used to the dog shit. When I go up to Wisconsin, it's like a walk in the park. Oh, okay.
It's glorious.
Oh, they're going too slow. That's what pisses me off. I just go around. But then you got to watch out because you got a target on your back when you got an Illinois plate on your car. But in any event, I guess we'll shift it over. Are you heading out?
I think so. I gotta help out with some fam stuff here, so
Good to you,
I
brother.
should bounce. It's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah,
Thanks
Good
for
to see you
coming
again,
on.
man. Absolutely.
And I'll see you mañana, bro.
Yeah. Well, we got that breakfast meeting 9. So do you still have the address, or do you need me to text it to you?
No, I got it.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So I'll meet you over there then, because I got to swing around and pick up some stuff on the way over.
Too easy, man. Okay.
All right, cool.
I'll see you then.
Yeah, see you then, bro.
All right. Later, YouTube.
Well said. So, Kev, tell us about Sports Mockery. This was formed, you said, 7 years ago?
Yeah, officially like 7 years ago. I'd have to go back and actually do the math, but we've been doing it for probably well over 10 years in terms of friendly banter between friends that, kind of escalated into this media company, really, that what Sports Mockery is now. So, it's been beneficial 7 years. We got our paperwork, all that kind of stuff, all done about 7 years ago. So it's going great. Yeah, it's awesome.
So it's you and you said 4 others?
Yeah, there's 3 main guys. Yeah, so there's Chris Burhans, Matt Eastman, Matt Zawoski are the 3 that kind of run it. You know what I mean? Kind of owners, founders type of people.
They do that as a full-time job? Or what?
No, all of them have successful corporate careers.
Yeah.
All of us do. Yeah. So, no, the owners don't. I think most of the staff that is on Sports Mockery, I'd say a lot of them don't. I mean, full time, I guess, is kind of tough to say because they're contract, right? They're freelance. They can do what they choose with their time. So, I wouldn't say necessarily full time, but I mean, we have a few writers that pump out a lot of content for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
30, 40, 50, 100 plus articles a month. So
That's a lot, man.
it's a real lot.
2 or 3 a day.
Oh yeah, and
Jesus.
minimum. I mean, some of the guys do that. They might do in a heavy news day. Sports news day. They 2-3 in an hour.
Yeah.
Literally, I mean, you can find that news and reproduce it and repackage it and send it back out.
Man. So originally you said it started where you were keeping contact with people and you were making like predictions and just talk and putting it on email threads, and you said, why don't we kind of turn this into a blog?
Yeah, exactly. So we were kind of, there's a bunch of us kind of, post college, all that kind of stuff. Everyone kind of got into their corporate roles, and we were just had a big email thread that was kind of emailing around between 12, 14, 15 of us. You know what I mean?
a lot.
It was, yeah.
It's almost like a text message conversation or a big group message.
It was a text message conversation via email, basically, is what it was. It was a big group message. So, yeah, we were having a lot of people, 6, 8, 10, 12 months down the line say, oh, remember, I called that. I called Joakim Noah, getting traded, or, whatever those situations were that we would talk about back in the day. And we needed a place to kind of track and house that stuff, because people would say, "Oh, I called that." We'd say, we'd make them go dig out the email, right? Go dig out the email. Prove to us that's what you said. And it was kind of keeping people accountable, but also ball busting at the same time, which was fun. So, Chris is a big IT guy, so he's the one who kind of started the coding and kind of put the website out there, you know what I mean, and kind of got it going. And it was a house, kind of a place to track, you know what I mean, all these kind of predictions and things that we were doing. And then
So it was originally just you guys. You didn't have writers. It was you.
Yeah, no, it was just
putting blogs
just us,
on
yeah. And then it kind of turned into the social media aspect of it kind of started growing. People were kind of interested in what was going on there, and interested in kind of the different platforms that we had out there. So as we continued to kind of grow our following, we were attracting some better talent, right? That maybe just the four of us. So we ended up getting kids from Columbia, and they were graduating, coming out with these journalism or media aspirations, and having a hard time kind of finding a spot to land right away. So we have multiple people that started with Sports Mockery that now currently write for ChicagoBears.com. We got some guys at NBC. We have some guys that are producers right now at 670 The Score and some things like that. So we kind of started as a breeding ground for some of these guys just kind of coming out of school, and gals as well, and they would produce the content, and we do content kind of multiple ways. We have our written content, which is the blog and the website. We have multiple podcasts that come out of that as well, and then we do some video as well that kind of comes through that as well. So kind of where the media company comes in instead of just being a sports blog, if you will.
Do you do you get in on any of those podcasts that they do from time to time?
I don't. I'm more in the background, personally. I would say probably Matt Zawoski, who's one of the founders. He is the host of what we call Pinwheels and Ivy. That's our baseball podcast. So he's more really champions that. He's big, huge White Sox fan, big baseball guy. So that's kind of his gig with some of the other folks that are on that podcast with him. But for the most part, most of the higher end guys, the executives, right, of the company, if you will, kind of more do the day-to-day managing of it, not so much the content creation.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. The website is really nice, man. It's not. I mean, it looks like you had somebody come in since you started your first one.
Oh, sure. We've had many iterations of the website. You know what I mean? Starting out from some pretty basic code to now it all being, basically certain code that's on it, right? That our guy Chris has written and kind of obtained from other sources as well, to kind of build the website to what it is today. So there's lots of different plugins is what they call them. WordPress is awesome to use as a platform, and there's different plugins that we're using to kind of curtail a lot of that.
Do you have WordPress for your website?
Yeah, WordPress is majority of what it's used and kind of what the writers blog through.
Yeah, my website for this podcast is WordPress as well. It's very easy to work with and update. I had a guy design it, and then he just said, anytime you want to update it, that's all you got to do. I said, oh.
Yeah.
It's basically almost like a copy.
But WordPress comes out with different versions, you know what I mean, all the time. So you want to kind of stay up to date, and then you kind of want to watch what the competition's doing, what you think is working for somebody else, kind of best practice type of thing. You might want to move some things around. Ad placement is big too, where you place the ads to get as much traffic back and stuff like that. So,
did it cost you a lot to get a designer to do that?
Well, one of our founders is the IT guy. You know what I mean? He's
the current site.
That's all him.
No shit.
Yeah.
You probably saved a lot of money there because I'm guessing some of these huge sports organizations are spending a couple $100,000 on their website or something like that.
Easy,
yeah. Maybe $1 million, right?
Some, yes.
Because yours, like your website, it's like looks like NBC or like Sun Times website or something, and the ads perfectly placed. It's just looks like a big deal,
Yeah, appreciate that. I mean, it's a lot of trial and error. You know what I mean? It wasn't done overnight. You know what I mean? We've had multiple years into this, multiple sessions, so many phone calls, so many meetings, all that type of stuff to be able to come out with, the creation of it and to be able to, constantly churn out that content in a format that is digestible, to the audience.
The articles are good, man. You got some good writers in there. And, you're getting, like, up-to-the-date sports information focused on Chicago sports.
Yeah, it's all Chicago sports related. You know what I mean? That's absolutely the thing. And keywords are big in the SEO space and things like that. So we do very well with a lot of the major keywords that a Chicago sports fan may or may not search, right? More than likely we'll search like Chicago Bears news and rumors. You know what I mean? We're like one of the tops for that. Chicago Bulls updates, you know what I mean? Chicago sports news, breaking Chicago sports news. Those are all things that we kind of focus on in our keywords and as we're creating content and putting that stuff out there to make sure that we have the right phrases and words in there to be
So
able
you're
to
coming up at the
to get
top of the
up
results.
to get up at the top of the results for Google and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably not easy to do. When you're dealing with the competitors that you guys are up against. But the focus on Chicago sports is like we talked about earlier. It's in Chicago, the sports here are a way of life, and we'll see how things go as things change with the generation. But the Bears, or opening day with the White Sox or the Cubs, it's a big deal, a family event, and you've seen championships here with the Hawks and all this. So for you to have that brand, because sports in Chicago is a very unique thing. Win, lose, draw, people love them. People love the teams.
It's passionate.
Yeah.
It's Chicago sports fans are extremely passionate.
It's a pastime. People spend their time on it.
Mm-hmm. In win or lose, you know what I mean? There's always traffic to the site. You know what I mean? There's for every sport too. You know what I mean? The Bulls aren't the very best right now, right? They're not doing great. We're getting our Bulls coverage is through the roof right now. Probably the best it's been in our history. You know what I mean? So things like that has been working out really, really well.
Is being involved with Sports Mockery, is it very time consuming for you outside of your work and your family life?
Yes and no. Yes, it's another task, right? That's on your list of things you have to do that day, that week, that month. Is it overkill? No, because thankfully there's a few of us, right, that are working on it, and the staff does really all the heavy lifting with the content and things like that. So, able to stay focused more on higher level things, items that.
Because you're like one of the directors or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Items. Yeah. Exactly.
So you have to have meetings about decisions.
Yeah. Right. What are we going to do here? What are we going to do there? What about this ad partner, that ad partner? All those types of things are the conversations we have at that level.
Do you have somebody on staff or one of your co-founders that reviews the content before it's put out, or
like an editor type of thing?
Yeah, editor. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the nice thing for you guys has got to be like, you are the people who approve it. There's nobody above you to tell you you can't write this or whatever.
Yeah, no, agreed. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we got started so well is we kind of don't have a lot of the major sports, right, are tied. They end up getting tied to a organization, right? Like NBC Sports, you know what I mean? Like Comcast Sportsnet, right? Like that was owned by the teams. So yes, they could say they can get as critical as they can, but they really can't, right? Because you're going to get that phone call. Like 670 The Score can't bash the Cubs all day long because the Cubs play their games on that station, right? Same thing with the Bulls and AM 1000. You know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. So even writers, right? Like they physically might be in that room with those press conferences, right? Like at the thing, and then they might not want to ask that certain question or say that type of thing. Well, our guys and gals kind of take a different approach and say, like, we want to question that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, those are the things that we want to get involved in. We want to research. We want to ask about because we don't have those constraints or ties to the organization that we're worried they're gonna revoke a press pass.
So your writers are credentialed with press passes that they can.
Most won't, they won't give them to us.
Really?
Usually, it's only we get a lot of Bears preseason. We get a lot of preseason stuff that they'll always let us be a part of, but they don't really want us there during the regular season. And
interesting. They're afraid of what your writers might have to say.
I don't know if it's afraid. You know, we're always denied because they say we're not print media. Well, let's be serious. Print media is nobody anymore. You know what I mean? So, and we fight back on that kind of stuff. But again, we're just this little media company. You know what I mean?
But growing.
But growing, right? And it has some pretty good influence too. So,
and impressive enough numbers that you had somebody in the past who made an offer and purchased 49%.
Yeah, we had a venture capitalist come in who kind of owned multiple websites, multiple media companies. Came in, purchased 49% of the site, had it for a while. I think he made his money off of it, and then he ended up selling his entire
media
portfolio, which we ended up having a clause in the contract that we can, we got the first option.
Yeah,
exactly.
You have to, because when it's a brainchild of yours, and I mean, who knows? The growth potential was huge, right? I
Right,
mean,
yeah, and it was key to us to have the right of first refusal in there to be able to get it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's ours, it's our baby. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
in a small company like that, you can't just have some random person coming in.
Well, we even what was nice that he was, his company's out in California. He didn't really care what we did. You know what I mean? He would look at the numbers at the end of the month.
He was concerned about the profit.
That's
that was
it.
coming
I
in
mean,
and
he
ad revenue.
was a strict investor. You know what I mean? That's what he was. He was looking at numbers, and that's it. Could care less how many articles were on the site, who wrote what, which staff
it's making
member,
money, it makes
which
sense.
staff member was the MVP that month. He could care less. He was just straight bottom line, top line revenue, bottom line profit. So.
You guys bought back the shares, and you're thinking perhaps in the future, if you continue to grow, you might have more
I would
people
imagine
come by.
another company's going to probably come in at some point. You know what I mean? Whether it's a local one or a national one, I would venture to guess at some point in time we will be offered again, and we'll have to make that decision.
Well, hopefully it'll be worth it. If you get an offer, it wouldn't be one of those ones where you look back and like, shit. You know what I mean? If we just held out another 4 or 5 years, they're going to another.
Well, that's what you get worried about, right?
$1 million or
It's the
something,
fear of the unknown. You know what I mean? And all humans kind of have that, right? Like, what should, even when we did that deal, we were kicked it around for weeks because we were like, hey, what if right now was our time? And now, you know what I mean? And this guy's going to come in and reap the benefits of
Everything
of
you
our
guys work
sweat.
for.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah. That's for real because like anything that we do outside of the norm, like for you, like this is something that it's bigger than yourself. It's something worthy of working toward and growing, and it's hard to just let that go to let somebody come in and take it over. So the price would have to be right.
yeah, price would have to be right, and they have to have the right vision too. That was one thing about this guy was he was just going to sit in the background and that was it.
Kind of a passive or
kind of a
silent guy,
passive,
yeah.
just as that's it, which was great. But if you get somebody with some big aspirations, I think you guys should change, X, Y, and Z. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. We would take a look at it, but we like being able to make the decisions ourselves.
Yeah, and the thing about it is like what you did is it seems like you formed the company at the right time. Is like when you started, this is what people like in sports. Like they like to hear people just talking about it in a fun way and making funny observations and comments about it and writing just good content. You don't get that everywhere. If you're gonna get something that's sounds like more academic than it does sports writing. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Nobody
at
wants
the
to
end of
read
the day, it's about the fans, and without the fans, there's no team, there's nothing.
And that's kind of us. We were all fans before we, got started on doing any of this. So it is the voice of the fan. You know what I mean? We even had that as a slogan for a little while. You know what I mean?
Voice of the fan,
We were the voice of the fan. You know what I mean? Because we were all fans writing. There was one point in time, Brian, where the website was open, where
You could actually blog on it?
Anyone could come in and just write their own blog. You know what I mean? And send it in, and we would review it and then put it up if it was worthwhile.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Maybe that was when we first met a few years back. That you might have still been doing it. I don't know. Maybe it was before. My
Yeah,
time.
no, we definitely did that. No, for sure. Yeah, because I think we talked about boxing, right? You were thinking about doing some boxing stuff and
Yeah.
MMA and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And then are you involved with picking the journalists who write for you, or how does that work?
Not really, not so much. No, that's kind of the other guys. Kind of
Yeah.
handle the factory aspect of it. You know what I mean?
Work with? Did you say you were doing more of the ad revenue side?
Yeah, I mess around more in the ad side, the sales side of the cycle. Whether that's meeting with individual partners in terms of what they're looking for. Everyone, when you meet with businesses, right? Everyone's like, "Oh, I can give you X amount of ad impressions a month, a week, a day, whatever." It's hard for people to really understand what we're talking about when you're not from that industry. When we talk about, CPM and click per million and stuff like that, like kind of blows people's minds. They're not really sure what we're talking about. And we tell them that for every 1,000 clicks, you're going to have to pay us $5. They're like, well, how many a lot of people look at that as, well, how many deals do I get out of that? And you're like, well, that's not what this is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you're getting clicks,
yeah,
which is the step toward your
which is the
ultimate
step,
goal.
right? You better
is
write
the
that
bait
good
that tries
ad.
to catch the
You
fish.
better have that nice landing page. You better, you know what I mean? There's more. I can send you traffic, but that doesn't mean you're going to convert them. So we try to. We tried at first to go to all these small businesses, and really we were spinning our wheels a lot, trying to explain to them how this all works, right? Like how all these ads work, and static ads versus traditional ad, all that kind of stuff, right? So we would educate them on the topics, and it just became very tiresome. Like it was just we were spinning the wheels round and round and round and round when we had Google AdSense kind of in our back pocket, and if we ever didn't have enough content, enough advertisers to fill that space, we're using Google to kind of fill the space anyways. So once we started getting better at the way we were structuring our articles, the site, where the ads landed, Google really started liking us, right? They liked the amount of unique visitors we have every month. We get a ton of unique visitors.
Unique meaning first time visitors, or
meaning like you click and then you click and then jump off. Is unique unique IP addresses.
Oh, okay.
So like you log in from here, you know what I mean, and then she logs in from her computer or whatever. It's like, so they track all these unique IPs. Then they can tell how long that particular IP was on the website. So did you read 3 articles? Did you read 5 articles?
So unique means different
different
IP
people,
addresses.
right? Different
so
people
they know for
come
sure
in.
because it was a different IP address every time.
Right. So I could be Kevin Giltmier. I could continue to click the same ad over and over, refresh.
You got somebody clicking it, and they're like, no, this is not. We're not paying for this.
Google's way too smart. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, get out of here with that bullshit.
Did you go to Google or did they come to you?
We went to Google. Yeah. So Google AdSense is you could put it on the Blessed Life website. You know what I mean, if you wanted to, and start getting paid some revenue. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wonder. I mean, mine is very low traffic, but. Hopefully that'll change one day. Keep on listening. But yeah, no, that's interesting. So what's the process? Do you have to speak to somebody or some kind of
no, it's all automated. Google's got it all automated, so you end up picking up the different, Google AdSense is what it is, and we end up putting the different spots in the articles and kind of around and. They call it the fold and the ad before the fold, and video ads. The longer they play, that'll pay you more than just seeing a static for.
It's scaled, right? So if they watch for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, you get a higher.
If they watch and then click, you know what I mean. You get more money on that way and all that kind of stuff. But you're getting pennies.
Yeah, so you have to do a huge
pennies.
Volume,
you have to do volume. Yeah. I mean, you got to do some high volume.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I guess you guys are doing it enough that.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we have millions. We have millions of hits a month.
No shit.
Yeah. So.
And how does that work? Like on the back end of the website through WordPress or something, you see the traffic. They tell you on there?
No, yeah. All that stuff that you install on it with Google, and that Google has different analytics that you can install in the back end of WordPress
through the website.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to start doing that just to track the. People are probably like, you don't track your shit on your site? No, not really. I mean, YouTube tells me how many people view or subscribe, and then people tell me, or the Spotify, Pandora, all that tells you how many, through the Simplecast website tells you how many people are viewing or downloading per week, how many are unique listeners, and all that as well. No, it's interesting. I thought you had to go through some crazy negotiation. I'm like, oh, it must be tough.
No,
David negotiating with Goliath or whatever.
That'd be cool. I'd love to sit in on that, but it's more just all automated. Google's so smart, so everyone pays Google to run the ads, and kind of what happens in the background, Brian, is like, let's say, I want to do one for Tierney Legal, right? Our Tierney Legal wants to attack males in the demo of 18 to 50. In the Chicagoland area, right? So that would be ideal for us, right? So Google will look at your ad and say, how much are you willing to pay? You're willing to spend $3? Okay. Like, I'll take a look at your ad, but then they might go to MGM Sportsbook, right? Who says, I'll pay $4 for that spot. You know what I mean? Because you're kind of competing over the same client. Yeah. So Google runs it's called bidding. They literally do all that bidding in the background before that ad ends up rendering on your site.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it sounds like a real efficiency for a site like yours.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, because once you set your ad and you place it, the only time you really have to mess with it is when you start changing the look. You know what I mean? Because you got to kind of keep it fresh, right? You got to want to change your look up every so often, have the articles kind of format differently.
Yeah, you don't want things to look stale.
You don't want to look stale. You don't want people that there's real life, there's bodies behind this and all that kind of stuff. So, we kind of have to look at that sometimes every now and then.
And then the way it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong here, you're helping kind of, I guess, Google or the advertisers more than helping you, or do some of those ads somehow drive traffic to your site as well?
They don't know. No, the ads pay us for the traffic that we have on.
Right?
Yeah, so that's our revenue, right? That's how we, keep our doors open. How we pay our staff.
I got you.
Are the ads? And then we get stuff from, these smaller companies kind of, we kind of moved them away from these ads and stuff, but we'll do sponsorships on social media, things like that. We'd much rather do like partnerships with people. We've done it with multiple bars and things like that where, hey, let's all, let's have a, St. Patrick's Day, right? Western Avenue is going to be jam-packed, right? So maybe one of those bars off of 111th Street or 115th Street, maybe they are going to need to get some people in because everyone's going to be on Western Avenue. So we've done it before where we've had, we throw a big sports mockery party at a certain bar, you know what I mean? And then we get people to come in, and then that bar's helped. They paid for us to come in. They paid for us to bring some of our people in, meaning like our fans, right?
Yeah.
And then we do it that way too with some people. So watch parties for games, all that kind of stuff.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, the watch parties for games. St. Patrick's has got to be kind of an interesting one because me personally, I'm a huge fan of the Southside Irish Parade. Attended for many, many years. But a lot of the time after the parade, I'd either end up at a house party or I'd leave and go to Bourbon Street. Them bars on Western, it's too packed, man. I couldn't even get in.
Well, right. So they're not looking for us, right? Like, even though we've done them there,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? We've done multiple ones on Western Avenue, because those bars don't get packed until mid parade after the parade.
Yeah.
But we'll bring them in there at 11 o'clock. You know what I mean? And then
Start off a little
pregame in. We'll have different. We'll host contests. We'll do giveaways, all types of things to entice people to come in.
That sounds good, my man. And then you're able to balance your, the company with your obligations with Fidelity and all that.
Yeah. I mean, it makes for long days some days, you know what I mean, and long nights, but it's all manageable. Like I said, there's 4 of us, so we're able to kind of share the load a lot, and all the content creation is really done from the staff. We occasionally have meetings with them. You give them some ideas, give them some thoughts, maybe tips or tricks, stuff like that. But for the most part, it's self-run. You know what I mean? We have the processes down and the systems in place where it's pretty seamless.
Glad to hear that, and it's really cool to see what you've done. We've gotten to know each other over the past couple of years, and it's always cool to see somebody who does something that's like, in some sense, larger than life, right? You're building this, you're growing it, as a baby, your baby, and then you tell me you have like millions of people of traffic coming through the website every month. So really cool. I don't know too many people who've done anything like that. It's not easy, right? In a world where media saturated, right? And even this, like, I always kind of joke around. I'm like, social media or YouTube or whatever has allowed everybody to be their own celebrity, right? Like, I never realized how many models there were out there, Kevin, until I got Instagram.
Until you got Insta.
Yeah, or whatever, or Facebook. Like, if they're out there, they do this for a living, and technology has evened the playing field from, bigger companies or whatever. You don't have to worry about, getting a deal from this company or, getting a show with NBC or whatever. It's now you can, start out on your own.
Make it yourself.
Yeah, and it's kind of a more trustworthy media because they know that you're not held back by somebody who has to watch what they say to keep their job.
Yeah, that's huge for us. You know what I mean? That for sure, because we've gotten into stuff that other outlets wouldn't touch, especially the Blackhawks heyday when all that stuff was going on, kind of with the different kind of in team fighting and all that kind of stuff, and we had some really good sources on a lot of that information. and we ran with a lot of it, which made other outlets jealous isn't the right word. Maybe envious that we were able to tell this story where they were told they can't tell that story, or they shouldn't tell that story.
Terrible thing to hear in America. You know, we talk about freedom of speech. It's the First Amendment to the Constitution.
Well,
which
and
means
freedom of
it's supposed
speech
to
is
be
fine, but
most important.
that business can choose to pull their credentials. They could pull their advertising dollars. They can look to a different outlet for whatever they're looking for. So, reputation, all that kind of stuff. I get all that. All that makes sense to me. You know what I mean? Where you don't want to dog somebody just to dog them.
Yeah, but this isn't. You're right. I agree with what you're saying there. You're not doing it just to dog them. But if it's true and it's information of interest to the fans or to the public, you know, whatever the issue may be, people should be able to talk about it and hear about it.
It's come out now. How
learn
many
the truth.
How many years later after the Blackhawks went on their great run, where a lot of that stuff that we kind of talked about, people, some of it's kind of come out now. You know what I mean? And people have seen it and said, like, what the? So it's not satisfying. It's not like, oh, we're patting ourselves in the back type of thing.
But you were the ones that broke the story when nobody else could talk about it.
But nobody else didn't even want to talk about it. You know, they wanted nothing to do with it, and we were kind of able to put it out there. So that's stuff like that is like, yeah, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like that.
For sure.
We made an impact there. You know what I mean? Yes, we pissed some people off in the process, but we definitely made an impact.
Yeah, it's tough, man. That's a balancing act, a fine line you have to walk between doing what you love to do, being successful at it, and you know, telling the truth. But sometimes people are gonna be offended. The truth hurts, but you know, maybe the truth will keep people acting, you know, on their best behaviors.
That's exactly right.
Anything else you want to tell us at all about the business or yourself?
No, I mean, Sports Mockery is awesome. You know what I mean? I hope everyone gets an opportunity to check it out. You know, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on all the big
YouTube,
socials,
Twitter, all that.
YouTube, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. So check us out, give us a follow, you know, give us a like. If you're into sports, especially Chicago sports, and you like a little bit of humor every now and then, I think you'll really enjoy what we got.
Sports Mockery is the site and the brand for you.
Yeah, sportsmockery.com.
That's awesome, man. Many years of growth ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Well, I always say that kindness is the world's most powerful resource, and we control it as a people. It's not the government, not some big company. Also, kindness is contagious. And, you know, maybe more so than COVID, who knows. But spread kindness all over and make the world a better place. Stay sharp, stay blessed, and tune in to the next episode of the Blessed Life University podcast. We love you guys.
Amen.
Peace out.